If I am referencing something historic or referencing a certain point in history, I'm not recreating it, but instead finding its essence and allowing that essence to come through in the designs. Yeah? Did that get where you wanted to? I am 100% inspired, excited, and in love with the counterculture of the 1960s and 70s. Coming out of the 50s and into the 60s, it was about pushing against this really rigid way of living. And of course, how we dress is always a reflection of that. So I think what's happening again today, and that inspires me as a designer, is to push against these rigid standards that are already set and to find the best examples that we can find of how that's worked in the past, the hippie movement being a great example of pushing against the problems that existed at the time. What I was trying to achieve with American Dreaming is a sense of history and a sense of freedom and a sense of lively, exciting spirit by way of looking at what was, but reinterpreting it for people to grab onto today. One thing I've come to learn about my own practice as an artist and designer is that research is central to everything that I do. The research that I do is my strategy to make sure that every design is packed full of the information that I want it to be. I want to make a vest that sounds like that Joy of Cooking song from 1974. So what fabrics and what shapes and what fit is going to make that happen? The fabrics themselves have a story to tell. I can then use that story and pair it with my own story to sort of enliven the designs. I'm a textile freak. I think in terms of fabric. The means by which I'm producing clothes, starting with American Dreaming, has to do with keeping it all local and using craftspeople within the region, ideally, if at all possible, always folks that I myself can work with directly to ensure that the cutting, sewing, finishing of every garment is something that I have a hand in and that is part of my immediate community here at the studio. In the Northwest, the counterculture had a great impact, and we still feel that in many ways today. I think one of the great indicators of it is that folks are interested in knowing where their food and clothing comes from, and if they don't have a hand in making it themselves, they at least want to know how it came to be and to know that they are participating in a sustainable model for their own lives. Something I always want to share with people is that if you invest in garments that are made with care and with a long lifespan in mind, which everything at MC, everything that leaves my studio has that intent behind it, we can then own something longer than just a few months, trust that a garment is made to last years, and that it's also designed with a sort of timelessness in mind that allows it to be part of your life for decades.